Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock with news of a huge trade surplus in China. China's exports hit a 3-year high in February and far higher than market expectations, while its year-to-date surplus against the United States soared 35%, adding fuel to concerns over a trade war. Exports surged 45% from a year ago to $242 billion in February alone, while imports from the month were only at $193 billion and far lower than the bump high we saw in January. As this data was released, the US administration signalled it will water down its hardline steel and aluminium tariff stance. The Bank of Japan is meeting today, and they must also be near issuing a turning point signals on their extensive QE program. And staying in Japan, they posted their largest January current account surplus since 2011. That extends their very strong 2017 result. And their GDP growth in the December quarter was revised up to 1.6% and far better than analysts had expected. They had expected 0.9%. American household debt grew in the final quarter of 2017 at the fastest rate in 10 years, and just before the GFC, on the back of car sales, or some of that was related to replenishment after hurricanes. Overall household debt rose 5.2%, while consumer debt jumped 7.8%, and mortgage debt just grew 3%. In the same release, the Fed also reported that household net worth rose by 2.1% to $98.7 trillion, as the value of share market holdings rose by $1.3 trillion, and the value of their housing rose by $500 billion. The ECB met overnight and said two interesting things. Firstly, they criticised the US on its trade stances, and more importantly, they dropped the promise to expand their bond buying if the EU economy turns negative. But otherwise, they changed no other settings. International air travel grew 4.4% in January, its slowest rate of growth in almost 4 years. In Australia, their Competition Commission said it will be releasing its report on how banks price mortgages sometime next week, and it said that will be very interesting reading. In New York, the US Treasury 10-year yield is down to 2.86% after getting as high as 2.89 overnight. The gold price has slipped again today, down $4 again, and now at $1,321 an ounce. Oil prices are lower again as well today, with the US benchmark down to just under $60.50 a barrel, while the Brent benchmark is now just over $63.50 a barrel. Swelling American inventories are behind the new lower push. The Kiwi dollar will start today unchanged at 72.6 US cents. On the cross rates, we're at 93.2 Aussie cents and 59 euro cents. That puts the TWI at 73.7. I'm David Chaston. It was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.